but a toy, for the rain it raineth every day, with a high ho, the wind and the rain, and the rain it raineth every day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. I missed you guys the last couple weeks. I had stuff going on that didn't allow me to be able to host, but I'm glad to be back now, and looking forward to performing some randomly chosen Shakespeare with myself, with Sheila, Henry, Bill, Maggie, John, and anyone else that might come in and join us late, based on the randomly chosen order in advance. Bill is going to start us off. Bill will go, and then Maggie is on deck. Let me get the wheel up, spin randomly to see what Bill is going to perform for us. So here's the wheel. Spin the wheel for Bill. Bill is going to perform.
The suspense is killing me.
Wow. You choose what you're going to. And Brandon just joined us, so she'll actually go next. She was going to go first. Would you like time to choose, or will we spin for someone else? Let's see.
Actually, I've been going over Sonnett 29 with a friend of mine, trying to get him to learn it. So since that's in my mind, why don't I do that?
Why don't we do that? That'll be interesting to do it. Sonnet number what is it?
29.
29. Okay, let's create the banner for that. So Bill will do this, and then Brandon will go, and then Maggie. So whenever you're ready, Bill you'll do Sonnet 29.
When in disgrace with fortune in men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like the one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented least. Yet, in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my place with kings. See?
Awesome. It's always interesting when wild card comes up and somebody uses that as an opportunity to give us something that we're not used to hearing all the time. So that was very interesting. Thank you for that addition. Brandon is up next. Glad you're back. You will be doing. So Brandon is going, and then Maggie is on deck. Brandon is going to do Salerio. This is going to be basically added after the famous beginning, I know not why I am so sad, and Salerio responds. Actually, it's another one says, your mind is tossing on the ocean, and Salerio responds, my wind cooling my brow. So this is Act 1, Scene 1. It's toward the beginning, the early conversation between Antonio, Salerio, and Solanio begins with my wind cooling my brow. So whenever you're
Your mind is tossing on the ocean. There were your agores with portly sail like signors and rich burghers on the flood. Or, if it, as it were, the pageants of the sea do oversee the pretty traffickers that curtsy to them, do them reverence as they fly by them with their own woven wings. Believe me, sir, had I such a venture forth, the better part of my affectations would be with my hopes abroad. I would be still plucking the grass to know where sits the wind, peering in maps for ports and piers and roads and every object that might make me fear. Misfortune to my ventures, out of doubt, would make me sad. When cooling my broth would blow me to an egg when I was thought. What harm a wind too great at sea might do? I should not see the sandy hourglass run, but I should think of shallows and of flats and see my wealthy Andrew docked on sand, veiling her high top lower than her ribs, to kiss her burial. Should I go to church and see the holy edifice of stone and not bethink me straight of dangerous rocks? But scatter all her spices on the stream and robe the roaring waters with my silks, and in a word, but even now worth this, and now worth nothing? Shall I have the thought to think on this? And shall I lack the thought that such a thing behance would make me sad? But tell me not. I know Antonio is sad to think upon his merchandise. Scene.
Great.
Gotcha.
You were the first one to do that one since I added it to the wheel for some variety. Okay, so Maggie, and good job with it. Maggie is up next, and Shelia is on deck. She will go after Maggie does. Claudius, and my offense is right.
3-3. Okay. Where are you, Hamlet?
Act 3, Scene 3.
Yep.
So whenever you're ready, go.
Okay, I'm finding it. Okay. Oh, my offense is rank, it smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon't, a brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or being our pardon being down? Then I'll look up. My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder? That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offense's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled even to the teeth and forehead of our faults to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state! Oh, bosom black as death! Oh, limed soul that struggling to be free art more engaged! Help, angels, make assay. Bow, stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Okay, awesome. So it's Shelia's turn, and then I am on deck. I'll go after Shelia does. Ah, Dogberry. End of Act 4, Scene 2 of Much Ado About Nothing.
Okay, 4-2. Oh, I love it.
Looks like you've frozen. Oh, there. Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Okay, almost there. Ready. Dost thou not suspect my place? Dost thou not suspect my years, or that he were here to write me down an ass? But, masters, remember that I am an ass. Though it be not written down, yet forget not that I am an ass. No, thou villain, thou art full of piety, as thou shalt be proved upon thee by good witness. I am a wise fellow, and, which is more, an officer, which is more, a householder, and which is more, as pretty a piece of flesh as any is in the Messina, and one that knows the law. Go to, and a rich fellow, enough, go to, and a fellow that hath had losses, and one that hath 2 gowns and everything handsome about him. Oh, bring him away. Oh, that I had been writ down an ass.
Thank you. Okay, so it's my turn now, and then after me, John, and then Henry. Okay, so I'm going to do. Yeah, friends, Romans, countrymen. Friends, Romans, countrymen, Lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men. So come I to speak in Caesar's friend. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. And Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransom did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When did the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept? Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him with a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. Okay. That's a good one. Unfortunately, it looks like we've lost John. I think he had connectivity issues, and I kept hoping he was going to make it back, but I guess not. So we'll skip to Henry for our final monologue before we do scenes. So Henry is going to do Hamlet, Oh What a Rogue. With Act 2, so let's see.
Sorry, where is it?
Very end of Act 2 scene, like the longest scene in Shakespeare, Act 2, Scene 2 of Hamlet, but it's at the very end.
Scene 2, okay.
After the players have just left. Got it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Sorry, my screens are all dodging about. Here we are. Okay. Oh, what a rogue and pleasant slave am I! Is it not monstrous as this player here, but in a fiction? In a dream of passion could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage want, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit. And all for nothing, for Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do, had he the motive and cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears, and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy metalled rascal, peak like John o' Dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my pate across, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie of the throat as deep as to the lungs? Who does me this, huh? Swoons, I should take it, for it cannot be but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter, or ere this I should have fatted all the region kites with this slave's offal. Bloody, bawdy villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain. Oh, vengeance! Why, what an ass am I! This is most brave that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words and fall a-cursing like a very drab, a scullion. Fie upon it, though. About my brain. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have, by the very cunning of the scene, been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefaction. For murder, though it have no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tempt him to the quick, if he but blench. I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be the devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. Yea, and perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play is the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
Okay, awesome. So we got 6 players left. Let's find some scenes for the 6 of us to do. Henry the Fourth, Part 1. Okay, there's 3. Okay, this is the beginning of the rebellion. Hotspur, Northumberland, and Worcester. This is where Hotspur just finished his my liege, I did deny no prisoners scene, and the king walked out angrily, and he's left with his father and his uncle planning the rebellion that'll be the basis of the rest of the play. We got Coriolanus. Act 4, Scene 5, Coriolanus and Aufidius. So that's rolls for 5 people. So the 6 roles for the 6 of us to choose from will be Henry the Fourth, Part 1, Act 1, Scene 3, Hotspur, Northumberland, or Worcester, Coriolanus or Aufidius, and then the 6th option will be to spin for an additional monologue. So reverse order. So Henry gets the first choice amongst those. Henry, what would you like?
Coriolanus, please.
Okay. And I'll take Hotspur. And Shelia gets the next choice. Shelia, what would you like?
Aufidius.
Yeah. Bill, what would you like? Oh, wait, sorry. It's actually Maggie's turn. Maggie's turn to choose next.
Oh, shoot. I was trying to look at the scene. I guess I'll just take Northumberland.
Northumberland.
Mm-hmm. Henry IV, part 1.
Okay, so, and then Bill, you can you get Worcester or do another monologue.
Worcester, please.
Worcester. Okay, so Brannon will do an additional monologue after myself. Bill and Maggie do the Hotspur scene.
Acting.
Down over that. Oops, I got the wrong reopen. Okay, so we'll take it from so the king has just angrily marched out. Send us your prisoners, or you will hear of it. And the king marched out, leaving just us three on stage. That's it. Maggie, your camera's off. Are you able to turn it back on, or is it?
Sure can. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it wasn't coming up for me, but I have it now.
Okay. So are both of you ready to go with this?
I am.
King just marched up. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're starting after.
Right after the king marched, the king said, "Told me, send us your prisoners, or you will hear of it," and marched out, leaving just us on stage.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, it's a lot later. Sorry. Okay, exit king. All right. So Hotspur starts, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, ready.
If the devil come and rust for it, and if the devil come and roar for them, I will not send them. I will after straight and tell him so, for I will ease my heart, albeit I make a hazard of my head.
What? Drunk with choler? Stay and pause a while. Here comes your uncle.
Speak of Mortimer. Zoons, I will speak of him, and let my soul want mercy if I do not join with it. Yea, on this part I'll employ all these veins and shed my dear blood drop by drop in the dust, but I will lift the downtrodden Mortimer as high as in the air as this unthankful king. This ingrate and cankered Bolingbroke.
Brother, the king hath made your nephew mad.
I thought I was in the wrong scene. I just found it. Who struck this heat up after I was gone?
We will, forsooth, have all my prisoners, and when I urged the ransom once again of my wife's brother, then his cheek looked pale, and on my face he turned an eye of death, trembling even at the name of Mortimer.
I cannot blame him. Was not he proclaimed by Richard that dead is the next of blood?
He was. I heard the proclamation, and then it was when the unhappy king, whose wrongs in us God pardon, did set forth upon his Irish expedition, from whence he intercepted did return to be deposed, and shortly murdered.
And for whose death we in the world's wide mouth live scandalized and foully spoken of.
Soft, I pray you. Did King Richard then proclaim my brother Edmund Mortimer heir to the crown?
He did. Myself did hear it.
Nay, then I cannot blame his cousin king that wished him on the barren mountain starve. But shall it be that you, that set the crown upon the head of this forgetful man, and for his sake wear the detested blot of murderous subornation? Shall it be that you a world of curses undergo, being the agents or base second means, the cords, the ladder, or the hangman rather? Oh, pardon me that I descend so low to show the line and the predicament wherein you range under this subtle king. Shall it for shame be spoken in these days, or fill up chronicles in time to come, that men of your nobility and power did gauge them both in an unjust behalf, as both of you, God pardon it, have done? To put down Richard, that sweet lovely rose, and plant this thorn, this canker Bolingbroke? And shall it in more shame be further spoken, that you are fooled, discarded and shook off by him, for whom those shames ye underwent? No, yet time serves wherein you may redeem your banished honors and restore yourselves into the good thoughts of the world again. Revenge the jeering and disdain contempt of this proud king, who studies day and night to answer all the debt he owes to you, even with the bloody payment of your debts. Therefore, I say,
Peace, cousin, say no more. And now I will unclasp a secret book, and to your quick conceiving discontents I'll read you matter deep and dangerous, as full of peril and adventurous spirit as to o'erwalk a current roaring loud on the unsteadfast footing of a spear.
if he fall in, good night, or sink or swim, send danger from the east, unlikely the west, so honor cross it from the north to south, and let them grapple. Well, the blood more stirs to rouse a lion than to start a hare.
Imagination of some great exploit drives him beyond the bounds of patience.
By heaven, methinks it were an easy leap to pluck bright honor from the pale-faced moon, or dive into the bottom of the deep, where fathom line could never touch the ground, and pluck up drowned honor by the locks. So he that doth redeem her thence might wear without corrival all her dignities, but out upon his half-faced fellowship.
He apprehends a world of figures here, but not the form of what he should attend. Good cousin, give me audience for a while.
Cry you mercy.
Those same noble Scots that are your prisoners,
Keep them all. By God, he shall not have a Scot of them. No, if a Scot would save his soul, he shall not. I'll keep them by this hand.
you start away and lend no ear unto my purpose. Those prisoners you shall keep.
Nay, I will, that's flat. He said he would not ransom Mortimer, forbade my tongue to speak of Mortimer. But I will find him when he lies asleep, and in his ear, I'll hollow Mortimer! Nay, I'll have a starling shall be taught to speak nothing but Mortimer, and give it him to this anger set in motion.
Hear you, cousin, a word.
All studies here I solemnly defy, save how to gall and pinch this Bolingbroke. And this same sword and buckler, Prince of Wales, but that I think his father loves him not, and would be glad to be met by some mischance I would have him poisoned with a pot of ale.
Farewell, kinsman. I'll talk to you when you're a better tempered to attend.
Why, what a wasp-stung and impatient fool art thou to break into this woman's mood, tying thine ear to no tongue but thine own.
Why, look you, I am whipped and scourged with rods, nettled and stung with pismires when I hear of this vile politician Bolingbroke. In Richard's time, what do you call the place? A plague upon it. It is in Gloucestershire. 'Twas where the madcap duke his uncle kept, his uncle York, where I first bowed my knee under this king of smiles, this Bolingbroke's blood. When you and he came back from Ravensburg,
At Berkeley Castle.
you say true. Why, what a candy deal of courtesy this fawning greyhound then did proffer me. Well, when his infant fortune came to age, and gentle Harry Percy and King Cousin, oh, the devil take such cozeners, God forgive me. Good uncle, tell your tale, I have done.
Nay, if you have not, do it again. We will stay your leisure.
I have done, in faith.
Then, once more, to your Scottish prisoners. Deliver them up without their ransom straight, and make Douglas's son your only mean for powers in Scotland, which for divers reasons, which I shall send you written, be assured will easily be granted. You, my lord, your son in Scotland being thus employed, shall secretly into the bosom creep of that same noble prelate, well beloved the Archbishop.
Of York, is it not?
True. Who bears hard his brother's death at Bristol. The Lord Scroop, I speak not this in estimation, as what I think might be, but what I know is ruminated, plotted and set down, and only stays but to behold the face of that occasion that shall bring it on.
I smell it. On my life, it will do well.
Before the game is afoot, thou still let slip.
I cannot choose but be a noble plot, and then the power of Scotland and of York to join with Mortimer, huh?
And so they shall.
In faith, it is exceedingly well aimed.
And 'tis no little reason bids us speed to save our heads by raising of a head. For bear ourselves as even as we can, the king will always think him in our debt, and we think ourselves unsatisfied, till he hath found a time to pay us home. And see already how much he doth begin to make us strangers to his looks of love.
He does. He does. We'll be revenged on him.
Cousin, farewell. No further go in this than I by letter shall direct your course. When time is ripe, which will be suddenly, I'll steal through Glendower and Lord Mortimer, where you and Douglas and our powers at once, as I will fashion it, shall happily meet, to bear our fortunes in our own strong arms, which now we hold at much uncertainty.
Farewell, good brother. We shall thrive, I trust.
Uncle, adieu. Oh, let the hours be short till fields and blows and groans applaud our sport. Okay, good job, you two. That was fun to do with you guys. So now we have Henry and Sheila are going to do Coriolanus and Aufidius. Create the banner. I'm guessing you guys have found where the while we were going. Okay, there you go. So whenever you guys are ready, go ahead.
Whence comest thou? What wouldst thou? Thy name? Why speakest not? Speak, man, what's thy name?
If, Tullus, not yet thou knowest me, and seeing me dost not think me for the man I am, necessity commands me name myself.
What is thy name?
A name unmusical to the Volscians' ears, and harsh in sound to thine.
Say, what's thy name? Thou hast a grim appearance, and thy face bears a command in it, though thy tackle's torn. Thou show'st a noble vessel. What is thy name?
Prepare thy brown to frow. Knowest thou me yet?
I know thee not. Thy name?
My name is Caius Marcius, who hath done to thee particularly and to all the Volsces great hurt and mischief. Thereto witness my surname, Coriolanus, the painful service, the extreme dangers, and the drops of blood shed for my thankless country are requited but with that surname. A good memory and witness of the malice and displeasure which thou shouldst bear me. Only that name remains, the cruelty and envy of the people permitted by our dastard nobles, who have all forsook me, hath devoured the rest, and suffered me by the voice of slaves to be whooped out of Rome. Now this extremity hath brought me to thy hearth, not out of hope, mistake me not, to save my life, if For if I had feared death, if all the men in the world, I would have voided thee, but in mere spite, to be full quit of those my banishers, stand I before thee here. Then, if thou hast a heart of wreak in thee, that wilt revenge thine own particular wrongs, and stop those maims of shame seen through thy country, speed thee straight, and make my misery serve thy turn. So use it that my revengeful services may prove as benefits to thee, for I will fight against my cankered country with the spleen of all the under fiends. But if so be thou darest not this and that to prove more fortunes art tired, then in a word, I also am longer to live most weary, and present my throat to thee and to thy ancient malice, which not to cut would show thee but a fool, since I have ever followed thee with hate, drawn turns of blood out of thy country's breast, and cannot live but to thy shame, unless it be to do thee service.
Oh, Marcius, Marcius, each word thou hast spoke hath weeded from my heart a root of ancient envy. If Jupiter from yond cloud speak divine things and say 'tis true, I'd not believe them more than thee. Oh, noble Marcius, let me twine mine arms about that body, where against my grain dash 100 times hath broke and scarred the moon with splinters. Here I clip the anvil of my sword, and do contest as hotly and as nobly with thy love as ever in ambitious strength I did contend against thy valor. Know thou first, I loved the maid I married, never man sighed truer breath, but that I see thee here, thou noble thing, more dances my rapt heart than when first I bedded my wedded mistress saw beside my threshold. Why, thou Mars, I tell thee, we have a power on foot. And I had purpose once more to hew thy target from thy brawn, or lose mine arm for it. Thou hast beat me out 12 several times, and I have nightly since dreamt of encounters twixt thyself and me. We have been drawn together in my sleep, unbuckling helms, fisting each other's throats, and waked half dead with nothing. Worthy Marcius, had we no quarrel else to Rome, but that thou art thence banished, we would muster all from 12 to 70, and pouring war into the bowels of ungrateful Rome like a bold flood or bear. Oh, come, go in and take our friendly senators by the hands, who now are here taking their leaves of me, who am prepared against your territories, though not for Rome itself.
You bless me, gods.
Therefore, most absolute sir, if thou wilt have the leading of thine own revenges, take the 1/2 of my commission, and set down as best thou art experienced, since thou knowest thy country's strengths and weakness, thine own ways, whether to knock against the gates of Rome, or rudely visit them in parts remote, to fright them ere destroy. But come, go in, let me commend thee first to those that shall say yea to thy desires. 1,000 welcomes, and more a friend than e'er an enemy. Yet, Marcius, that was much. Your hand most welcome. scene.
Thank you, Sheila. That was wonderful.
I loved it.
Good job, you guys. So the one person who didn't get fit into a scene with us was Brannon. So she gets another turn. We will get to see her go again with another monologue for her. So spinning for Brannon's second performance, and then we'll call it a day. Our final performance will be Brannon doing Once More Into the Breach. Nice, powerful one to end on. So, beginning of Act 3, Scene 1, Henry V. Whenever you're ready. Brannon, you're muted still.
It's not good, is it? Okay.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. Okay, get this over. Once more unto the breach, dear friends. Once more, we'll close the wall up with our English dead. In peace, there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger, stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard favored rage. Then the eye, a terrible aspect. Let pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon. Let the brow overwhelm it as fearfully as doth a galled rock, o'erhung and jutty his confounded base, swilled with the wind and wasteful ocean. Now, set the teeth and stretch the nostril wide. Hold hard the breath and bend up every spirit to his full height. Oh, on, you noblest English, whose blood is fet from fathers of war proof. Fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts from morn till even thought and sheathe thy swords for lack of argument. Dishonor not your mothers. Now attest that those whom you called fathers did beget you. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. And you good yeomen, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not, for there is none of you so mean and base that hath not noble lustre in your eye. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips. I can't scroll down any farther. There's something going on with my computer. Making it smaller. I can scroll down.
Okay. Well, thank you for what you did give us.
I was starting to get going there, but
started to get going. Sorry we couldn't let you finish, or that your computer couldn't let you finish. But good job, you and everybody. I'm glad we were able to come back and have a good round of the Wheel of Shakespeare this time. Run, but we'll see you guys same time next week on the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. Look forward to seeing you guys a week from now. Bye now.